Hey, I'm Jusko from ProudMoney.com. Your credit score could be going up if you have past medical debt that has been weighing it down. I'll tell you what's happening, but first I'm going to ask you to please subscribe to this YouTube channel if you've not already, and if you have already, I thank you for doing so. So if you are someone that has medical debt on your credit report and it has been weighing down your credit score, especially if you eventually paid off that debt, well then this will be good news for you. According to an article from the Wall Street Journal on Friday, and I've seen it a couple other places since then, the big three credit reporting agencies, Equifax, Experian, Transunion, announced that all three of them are going to be removing medical debt from your credit report if it is medical debt that went into collections but you eventually paid it off. And according to the article, 70 or near 70% of the medical debt that is sitting on people's credit reports and weighing down their credit scores is debt that was eventually paid off. And if you have any of this past medical debt that went into collections but you eventually paid it off, you know it's still sitting there on your credit report and it's going to sit there for a very long time, 7 years to be exact. So for some people this could mean a significant increase in their credit scores, especially if that medical debt is somewhat recent. Now, in addition to the fact that some of this medical debt is going to be wiped clean from people's credit reports, the credit reporting agencies are also saying that going forward, they're not going to add medical debt to people's credit reports unless it is at least a year old in terms of actually been in collections for a year. And then some medical debt is not going to show up at all on your credit report if it is less than $500. And according to the Wall Street Journal article, even that $500 limit could go up. So if you have medical collections but they aren't huge, well then that is something that might never show up on your credit report. And I'll mention here a smart comment I heard from somebody else on the internet saying that medical debt not only hurts you in the fact that it is going to weigh down your credit score, but you don't get anything positive when you actually do pay your medical bills. So your medical bills are not reported to the credit reporting agencies. The only time it shows up on your credit report is if you don't pay. Now, if you had medical debt and it went into collections and you eventually just threw in the towel and never paid for it, it doesn't look like that is going to help you. That is still going to show up as a negative on your credit report. And all of this makes sense and is long overdue because if you have had any medical debt in the past, you probably know that most of the time when you have a big medical debt, it is because something bad happened that was unexpected and it cost a lot of money in terms of what those hospital bills were, and it came on very fast, much faster than most people can suddenly be expected to pay a very large unexpected bill. And when you have, you know, a medical situation where there's an emergency, whether someone has to have surgery or maybe they're in a car accident or whatever the case might be, even if you're in the hospital for 3 or 4 days, you can have a huge medical bill, and you can have bills from the hospital, from labs, from, you know, sometimes the doctors have their own independent bills. So a lot of stuff comes at you fast. Sometimes you don't know if the insurance company's paying for it because the bills all come to you, even though they should, you know, sometimes go through the insurance company. So there's all kinds of confusion too. So not only is it difficult to pay a big amount in a short time, but sometimes it's difficult to even know what you owe and to who. And so if you had a medical debt and it went into collections, but you eventually paid it off, well then that really shouldn't be something that is a black mark, and it certainly is not predictive of how you're going to do in the future with credit cards, with a mortgage, with an auto loan, all that sort of thing. Now, if it seems strange that the 3 credit reporting bureaus all came to the consensus that they should wipe out this medical debt at the same time, it probably shouldn't be a surprise because the government's Consumer Financial Protection Bureau has been on the credit reporting agencies to do something about medical debt. And you might remember that last spring, there was sort of a stink being made about maybe the government would even start its own credit reporting system and its own credit scoring system. And so obviously this stuff has probably put the credit reporting agencies in a little place where they are a little afraid that the government is going to step in on them, and so they are trying to do the right thing, even if the right thing is forced by the government. I should also mention here that some of the credit scoring models out there already take into account the fact that medical debt really should not be part of the credit scoring equation, but the problem is that those are newer credit scoring models that a lot of the lenders out there don't actually use. So, for example, FICO's Score 9 model takes medical debt largely out of the equation when it comes to your credit score, but FICO itself says that most of the lenders that use FICO scores are not using the Score 9, they're using earlier versions, and so that medical debt is playing into the credit scores that they are seeing. So if you've had medical debt that went to collections, but you did eventually pay it off, well, then this is going to be something that is going to help you increase your credit score. How much of an increase is going to depend on what the rest of your credit report looks like, obviously, but there should be a jump for anyone that is in this situation. Questions, comments, put them in that comments section below. Otherwise, I thank you for watching, and as always, go to proudmoney.com where we do credit card reviews, we talk personal finance, we talk deals, and all sorts of other fun stuff too. And if you don't feel like visiting the website, check out this video.